This is Clarence Hill and Charean Williams coming to you from the Star 3 days before the Cowboys 2017 NFL Draft. Charean is our resident draft expert. What are the Cowboys going to do?
Well, I think they really want Derek Barnett, the Tennessee
Right.
pass rusher. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Is he going to be there? Probably not. If he starts falling, say there's a run on quarterbacks, then I think maybe they go up and try to get him. They love this guy, and I think they see him as a difference maker that they haven't had here since DeMarcus Ware, who we saw at the press conference today, retired as a Cowboy. They haven't had that since DeMarcus was here on the field and healthy, which was 2012. And so they want that pass rusher. I think they do end up with the defensive end. If he's not there, I think you look at Charles Harris of Missouri as possibly being the guy, or McKinley from UCLA as the guy. But I think one of those three players will be a Dallas Cowboy at the end of the day on Thursday.
You know, Jerry Jones has talked all offseason. They need a war-daddy pass rusher. You know, the funny thing about it is they got rid of DeMarcus Ware a few years ago. They thought he was done. You know, and he was a guy that they're looking for in this draft. They're looking for a guy who exhibits the quality DeMarcus Ware does on the field and off the field. And that's the type of player they're looking for this draft. The funny thing is, they thought he was done. Clearly, he wasn't done. He went to Denver, won a Super Bowl. They really wanted him back.
Yeah.
You know, and he thought about coming back to the Cowboys because he's still better than the guys they have, but he decided to retire.
Yeah, 8th all-time in sacks, and he's going to be in the Ring of Honor and going to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and was just truly a great player and a great pass rusher. 117 sacks here. We all saw what he did. Had that probably signature game against the New Orleans Saints when he came back from the injury a week later and really played well. But just a great force, and the Cowboys need that guy again. If they're going to get to the next level, we saw it in 1991. They were right on the verge. They had the quarterback, they had the young running back, they had the young receiver. They didn't have the defensive guy to make a difference. They ranked 16th overall in total defense in 91. They went out and traded for Charles Haley. Now, they're not going to have a trade, but they're going to try to find that guy in the draft who can come in and make a difference and get them over that hump.
We know they need defensive end. They need a passer. They need defense, defense, defense. This team is unbalanced. They have so many great players on offense. We know they have the running back. We know they have a receiver, Dez Bryant, who should be better this year because he's healthy for the first time in a couple of years in the offseason. They got the running back. They got the offensive line. They need to improve on defense. Yes, they're going to get a pass rusher. They also need a cornerback and a safety.
Yeah, you look at where they were last year. They had 9 interceptions. They had 36 sacks. They did not play well on defense, and they lost 7 players in free agency. This was not a good defense last season. It will not be a good defense this season unless they get some help and these guys come in and make an immediate impact. And, of course, they're looking at a couple guys from last year helping out, and Jalen Smith, who they really have high hopes for, and also Charles Tapper, who was injured all of last season.
The Cowboys focused on offseason. When they let those guys go, they had the draft in mind. They knew that they could let these guys go and possibly replace them and hopefully improve within the draft. The Cowboys do enough in the draft with those guys that you hope from last year they can come back and improve this year to continue their success. It's been since 2006, 2007 when they had back-to-back playoff season. The goal is not to do what they did last year. The goal is to make the playoffs and take another step. Can this Cowboys team do it with this draft?
Well, you know, they're going to have to if they want to take that next step. Everybody in their division has improved. I mean, you look at it on paper, they all look better. You talk about the cornerback help, and I think you look at a couple of corners here, Marlon Humphrey from Alabama and Quincy Wilson from Florida, who they really like, and it is a really deep class of cornerbacks, and possibly maybe one of those guys, I think Quincy Wilson maybe is the name to watch, could be there in the second round, or maybe they move up a little bit in the second round and get one of those guys. But I think they have to go defensive end corner in this draft and have 2 guys that come in and are day one starters. And I know the cornerback, I know they have 2 cornerbacks, but remember last year they listed 3 cornerbacks as starters. You've got to have 3 cornerbacks in this league, and that guy's got to be able to step in and play.
I mean, I see the Cowboys possibly taking defense with every pick. Certainly they can squeeze in a running back or a receiver there. They can use a running back, you know, possibly a quarterback certainly at some point. You know, running back could also be a kick returner. Yeah. You know, so they could use help there. But, you know, the way this team is set up and what they're trying to do, they can go all defense. They need a starter at defensive end, need a starter at cornerback, they need a starter at safety.
Yeah, no question about it. 7 picks. I think you're looking at least 5 defensive players, but you're right. I don't think it would surprise any of us if they end up with 7 defensive players out of this draft.
This is Clarence Hill and Charean Williams. We'll see you again Thursday when the Cowboys pick number 28 in the NFL Draft.